twin flame union isn't a place we get to or something that we attain. It is a state of being we align with inwardly that then begins to manifest itself on the external plane through more consistent, stabilized, effortless interactions, conversations, conscious points of connection with our twin flame that we tend to collectively label as a physical 3D reunion state or a union with our twin. Now, of course, twin flame union will be a unique manifested state of being, depending on your own individual circumstances, wants, wishes, desires, which, by the way, those desires speak to your soul desires. Any desires we hold from the heart space speak to our soul's blueprints, or in other words, the plan we created for this lifetime as a soul, which, if you found this video, most likely includes a twin flame path as well. And those soul blueprints, although we do have amnesia to them consciously, are gradually revealed to us over the course of time. One of those forms of revelation being simply what we find ourselves truly desiring from a space of heart-centeredness. So if you desire from a heart-centered place a certain union state of being with your twin flame, know that your soul is speaking some of your soul's blueprint, your plans for this lifetime that are already laid in place. You have only to align with those plans energetically, emotionally, and that process of alignment with our soul's true blueprints is what we refer to as the energetic merging process between twins. So, although again, these states of union can look very different on the surface, physically, in the 3D worlds, at the energetic level, we all go through an identical process. So that is what I'm going to be speaking about in this podcast video. We are going to be diving deep into what twin flame meeting, merging, and union looks like at the level of energy. If you could take a microscope and somehow visually see what is happening energetically, which actually you are capable of seeing energy, and there are those who can consciously see the flow of energy in this way. But we are going to be putting into words what you would see happening through the 7 main energy centers of the energy body that we refer to as the chakras. What you see happening uniquely between twin flames as they are meeting one another, interacting in the physical world, merging with each other energetically, even going through times of separation, running, chasing, as many twins do, and ultimately coming into a union state of being, what that looks like at the level of energy. But before I get into this podcast video, I first would like to welcome you to this space here on YouTube. Thank you so much for connecting with me here. If you are new, then welcome. My name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. If you do resonate with my content or with what I've shared so far in this video, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube, co-creating all of these videos, messages, and information together. An added benefit of subscribing is that when I channel these videos, whether it's a podcast, a reading video, a message, if you are subscribed, this allows me to pick up on your unique energetic signature, and I'm able to bring more relevant videos, messages, information, and readings for you as a subscriber, both here and in future videos as well. So, twin flame union is often one of the most misunderstood or confusing topics under the umbrella of twin flame connection, because although it can be and often is a manifested 3D state of being that can look like a very traditional romantic relationship, again, depending on your unique intentions for your connection, unique soul intentions, whatever those are for you. But although it often looks that way, what twin flame union actually is something highly energetic. And the process of manifesting twin flame union is very unique. Manifesting or attracting union with a twin flame is almost the opposite of attracting union in a very 3D based relationship, because in a very 3D based, let's call it non-soul based connection, if you were to just choose someone out of the crowd that you found attractive and you were to say, okay, I am going to manifest a union, a relationship long-term with that person. If you and that other soul do not share this kind of highly energetic soul bond, if it is very 3D based, then the way to consistently have interactions that we then call a union with that person would be to devote more time, energy, and efforts on the external plane toward that physical other person. Again, because we are operating and creating a relationship entirely from the 3D. But between twin flames, there is this incredibly ancient bond. In fact, the most ancient it could be from your soul's perspective, because you and your twin flame carry the same soul frequency, which, although time doesn't exist at the level of the soul, at the level of energy, if time did exist, we would say that your soul and a twin flame soul were created at the exact same moments in the universe, because you share an identical soul frequency. So what this means is that you are bonded from lifetime after lifetime. You share this kind of depth of connectedness that transcends any sense of time, any particular physical lifetime, including this one. Which is why when you meet this person, you are hit with such a sense of depth, a sense of familiarity. It's because your souls are not meeting, they are remembering one another through this conscious interaction between you. So, in a 3D relationship, you reach union in the external by devoting more of your energy, your self-sacrifice, your time, your attention to this other physical human being. But when it comes to a twin flame, it is the exact opposite. Because this person is the embodiment physically of a soul that carries your identical core soul frequency, your interactions with this other person, this other soul, are more than 95%, more than probably 99% happening energetically in what we sometimes refer to as the 5D, at the level of the energetic self, occurring through, one way to think of it is that it's happening through these 7 energy centers that we call these 7 chakra centers. Now, in twin flame connection, one soul carries a dominant masculine polarity into this physical vessel in this lifetime, whereas the other carries a dominant physical polarity. And whether you carry the masculine or the feminine polarity as a twin flame dictates the chakra centers that you will be able to open more naturally. The feminine is stronger in the upper chakra centers, the crown, the third eye, the throat chakra, whereas the masculine is stronger in the lower 3 chakra centers, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, and poetically, the 2 polarities within twin flame connection meet in the middle, which is the heart space. So what this looks like energetically is, prior to meeting your twin flame consciously in the physical world, remember the meeting occurs at the heart space, at the heart chakra. So in order for this to happen, the feminine must be stimulated and become more open through the upper 3 chakra centers prior to this point of conscious interaction. Now, do keep in mind, this point of conscious interaction I'm referring to when 2 twins meet at the heart space. For most, this will be a physical 3D interaction of some sort, but for many, this can happen virtually in today's modern times. So you can consciously interact with your twin flame through social media virtually. For a lesser number, for some, this can actually be a 5th dimension conscious interaction. So for some, your twin flame may not be physically incarnated here. So you might actually experience a conscious interaction with them, a sort of awakening where you consciously recognize them as your divine counterparts through some kind of dream or other form of 5D spiritual experience. But regardless, this moment of what we call twin flame meeting occurs when 2 polarities, 2 divine counterparts meet at the heart space, which has to mean that the process of energetic merging between them actually occurs prior to this point of meeting, or begins, I should say, prior to this point of meeting, and only radically intensifies when they do meet, when they do consciously interact or encounter one another in some way. So very often the divine feminine, the feminine polarity within twin flame connection will grow up with a stronger sense of her spiritual identity, whether this is conscious or unconscious. The feminine polarity tends to be more creative, more expressive of her voice. She might be a writer, a speaker, someone who uses words or arts or some form of medium in the physical world, music, artwork, poetry, to express herself, her gifts creatively. In fact, many divine feminine twin flames find themselves inspired to some kind of creativity, having these natural innate creative gifts or abilities from a very young age. Now, on the other side of the equation, we have the divine masculine polarity. The divine masculines tend to be to the other extreme. Divine masculines must open the root chakra to begin this merging process between the twins that again happens even prior to their conscious physical meeting or interaction. So for the purpose of opening and stabilizing the root chakra, very often the masculine is born into certain environments, certain circumstances that cause him to either need to be overly materially fixated or focused. For example, he may have been raised in an environment where money, success was a very strong focus, very much ingrained into him. Or there may have been a lack of material resources, money, finances in his early life that caused him to really open these lower chakra centers, really focus on stabilizing himself in the physical world from a very young age. Whereas many masculines, unlike the feminine, may have not had a lot of time, inclination, or resources to devote to those upper chakra centers, creativity, the more spiritual, psychic side of themselves. In fact, many masculines may even struggle when it comes to the throat chakra energy. They may not be able to articulate themselves as well as the feminine to vocalize their wants, needs, desires, dreams in life. For many masculines, they even are closed off altogether from really being able to fully visualize what they want their future to look like, what dreams they have for themselves and their lives outside of this physical 3D matrix, outside of what they were programmed to want for themselves or their life. So these very two opposite extremes are occurring within both counterparts, again, usually beginning very early on in life. And once the masculine has worked his way up through the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, meaning he's developed a fairly strong sense of his physical identity, although for some masculines, this strength in the lower chakra centers and weakness in the upper chakra centers may manifest itself as someone who might come off as being a bit more ego-driven, a bit more materially focused. But the positive, I should say the light side of this strength in the lower chakra centers is very often the masculine by a fairly early age or early into adulthood has found a way to stabilize himself, to find a sense of himself, confidence in this physical world. Whereas the feminine polarity tends to have developed or refined some of her creative gifts or abilities. But in many cases, again, these are all just speaking in generalities here. So do keep in mind what you personally experience will be unique and individual to you. Only take from this information what resonates. I am speaking in very broad terms what commonalities tend to occur in the masculine and feminine polarities, generally speaking. But in general, for the divine feminine, she will very early in life refine her creative abilities, sometimes her psychic or intuitive abilities. She may consider herself an empath or someone who is highly sensitive. But just as the masculine is stronger in the lower chakras and weaker in the upper, the feminine may find she has some weaknesses in the lower chakra centers. So she may have some difficulty feeling fully grounded in her physical life. She may not yet have found a way to fully ground and stabilize all of those beautiful spiritual gifts and abilities and creative endeavors that she's had from a very, very young age. She may feel, although she has all of this power, all of this ability, intuitiveness in those areas, she may find it difficult to stabilize, to really ground them in the physical world, to find a way to bring together both of those elements, both the material and the creative and the spiritual. So what happens is, again, once each polarity has had a chance to open their dominant 3 chakras, whether it's the lower or the upper, they then have or experience a point of meeting consciously. For most, this will be meeting in the physical world, either virtually or in person. This could be simply being near one another physically. That is enough to amount to this meeting at the heart space. At this point, it triggers a massive heart chakra opening, expansion, a heart-centered awakening as each counterpart feels this radical expansion through the heart space that causes them to begin really connecting with this intensity of emotionality. They often begin to feel a sense of deep interconnectedness through unconditional love with everyone and everything. Although, what happens after this point of meeting? So energetically now, the two polarities have met at the heart space. This, in terms of what we think of as twin flame stages, would be the honeymoon stage. This is when things seem to be opening up, seem to be going well. You've met, you've connected, you're experiencing all of these signs, these incredible synchronicities with one another. And then begins the integration work. So what I mean by integration is each polarity must now work on and integrate the energies from their weaker 3 chakra centers. This is very challenging work, and this is also why so relatively few souls in the history of humanity's past have chosen to incarnate with this kind of polarizing experience that we have with a twin flame, because it's very difficult to be raised with having 3 chakra centers so strong, so dominant, whereas the other 3 feel so weak and so ungrounded in early life. This can lead to a lot of destabilization, a lot of hardship very early on in our physical human experience. But then not only to have that early in life, but later in life to have to do the work of integrating, bringing in those lower 3 chakra centers into your energetic field and stabilizing them. This is very, very intense work. And again, it's all happening inwardly. The union that we see manifested outwardly between twin flames is really the manifestation of this inward process of merging and integration happening within the self. So essentially, for the divine feminines must integrate the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, which represent the integration of their inner divine masculine. On the other side of the equation, the divine masculine must integrate his inner divine feminine, the upper 3 chakras, the crown, the third eye, the throat chakra. And again, this process is very, very intense. So during this process of integration, because of the intensity, there is often the necessity for increased focus within the self. And in certain cases, again, depending on your unique soul intentions for this connection in this life, twin flames may choose to go through periods of time in the physical where they are physically separated or disconnected from each other's physical self to a certain extent or degree, for the purpose of allowing them to focus their attention more heavily on the inner counterpart, the inner divine masculine, the inner divine feminine, made up of those 3 chakra centers that they may have had a weakness in growing up in life. So from an external perspective, we see this as a separation, but internally what's really happening is we are coming closer together than ever. We are actually integrating the essence, the energy of that other counterparts into our own self, becoming united within the self, experiencing a divine union, a stabilization through all 7 chakra centers within the self that then again begins to manifest itself through what we call a twin flame union states in the physical world. So again, all of this is taking place energetically. And because this is such an energetic process, if you are a twin flame and you are going through this very beautiful process of integration and merging, really merging with your own highest self that already is integrated, that already is that perfect yin-yang balance of masculine and feminine. If you are someone on this path, I do recommend some form of daily energy clearing ritual, because what you are going through is a huge amount of energetic shifting and changing within the self, and this requires you to really clear out any negative beliefs, limiting patterns that act as blockages through any of these 7 chakra centers throughout the process. I have created a very powerful subliminal meditation for this purpose to assist you in this twin flame energetic merging, clearing, uniting, which is really inner uniting process happening within you. And I've called this the Twin Flame 7 Chakra Clearing Subliminal. So this comes from my subliminal site, soundandsoulful.com. As you can see on the screen, on this website, I've created over 100 subliminals for all areas of your life. So I do have subliminals for things like physical appearance changes, mood shifts, manifesting specific material things like money or business success, for love, relationships, and so much more. So this Twin Flame 7 Chakra Clearing specifically is designed to reach into each of the 7 chakra centers and uproot and release any blockages that may be preventing you from fully integrating yourself, your inner masculine and feminine, and magnetizing yourself at that level of unconditional love that then effortlessly draws in love to you from all places and sources, including, of course, your twin flame counterpart in the physical as well. So the link to this Twin Flame 7 Chakra Clearing is in the pinned comment and description box under this video. And when you sign up for a 7-day free trial account on my website, you can access this subliminal or any of the more than 100 I've created completely free for 7 days. And again, all of that information is linked below. But for now, I am going to go ahead and close out this podcast. There is so much more I could say on this topic. So if any of this connected with you in some way, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know if there's anything specific you would like to hear in future podcast videos about twin flame connection or spirituality more generally. I really love connecting with each of you in the comments section under these videos. So thank you for being such a powerful co-creator here on this channel. I am wishing you the most beautiful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next video.